Okay, ladies and gents, welcome. We are live yet again today. Big welcome. I am in Bangkok again, but we're going to talk about yet again this another unbelievable coincidence that has just occurred, and we're going to talk about this because we've talked about the other coincidences, and today I've taken it a step further. I've actually used AI to help me with the calculations because they became so complicated. I needed AI to help me to calculate the odds of these coincidences. And if let me give you a little hint as to what this is. Yet again, another whistleblower has been found dead. Yes, another one. This is now 5 out of 5, and that's not even including some of the big ones that we know about with certain lists. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see even more of these just happening to disappear. I think we'll use the word. I fully expect this video, by the way, on YouTube to be censored right away because that's what's happened with the last 3 or 4, and the one I did the other day, not the actual video that I edited and posted on Friday, but it was either Wednesday or Thursday, where we talked about all the news on weather mods and stuff like that the media was talking about, or the weather mods that they're doing. um, that got censored right away, and I just couldn't believe that. But what I actually do now is I do appeal every single one, and because I know the rules around it, and I think this is going to get better actually soon, censorship and things, because I had to do a little thing and show the evidence to YouTube, and then they said, okay, yeah, it's fine. This came from official media sources. It's like ridiculous, I know. So today, this is going to come from official media sources. So even though they'll censor it right away, I will appeal it, and then more people will see it because I know what's going to happen. A load of people are going to say, Neil, this video didn't show up in my feed. So let's go through then all of these crazy coincidences, and then let me show you the calculations on the odds of all of this. Yes, please smash that like button. Thank you to Razul there. And actually today, let me show you. This is gonna hit shortly. We are on four. Oh, here we go. 444 We need 3 more subscribers here. 3 more, and we've got the special number. As someone told me, I'm about to hit 444. So let's go. Let's go on here. And let's look at this poor, unfortunate chap. It's so sad, all of these people. So, so sad. So this is what happened then. He was found dead in his apartment. Suchir Balaji, he was only 26 years old. It's amazing how the family and the parents always say that this definitely didn't happen. I can't say the word because we're on YouTube here. They always say this definitely wasn't the case. And the police always say, well, there was no evidence found of foul play. Yeah, maybe, and again, not a wild conspiracy here, but maybe that's because you've seen all these movies, you've seen all these professionals that can be hired and stuff like that. I don't think it's too outrageous to say that someone should look into this stuff. And I'll tell you why I say this. I remember, and many of you from the UK will remember this vividly. Do you remember the Deep Cut 4? Hold on, I've got the article here. The Deep Cut 4. Here we go. We'll talk about this in a second. Do you remember this? Drop it in the comments if you remember this, because I remember this vividly. And to this day, we never got a resolution, even though there were independent investigations into that, which were ridiculous, by the way. Absolutely ridiculous. The official government military investigations that they said, oh, this lady, she shot herself like 3 times at long range. It's like, really, really, BBC, you're going to tell us that that actually happened to that 17-year-old girl? Okay, yeah, we're that stupid. So you've got all these whistleblowers now. Where are they? Here we go. Let's go through all this. We'll go through them one at a time. So in recent months, what happened then? Mr. Balaji had publicly spoken out against AI companies' practices, so OpenAI, which I used, ironically, OpenAI to do the calculations. I thought it would be quite ironic to do that. So they've been fighting these lawsuits relating to its data gathering processes. So what was said then, they'd come to the conclusion that they've been using copyrighted data to build ChatGPT and that it violated the law and it was damaging the internet. That's not the sort of thing you want to go out there, is it? Especially in these open inquiries. So OpenAI said in a statement cited by CNBC News, it was devastated to learn of this incredibly sad news today, and our hearts go out to Suchir's loved ones during this difficult time. Really? Really? Okay. Now, you remember we covered this a little while ago, and this was Joshua Dean and John Barrett. I've got it. One moment. Yeah, they both died within weeks of one another. These were the Boeing whistleblowers. Hold on, here we go. This was John Barnett, which, by the way, they've changed the media. This is why we use the Wayback Machine. They've changed this now, the story as to what happened to him. You can go and look at this up, by the way. People have done a lot of these investigations into it. So now they're saying, okay, here we go. Wound, right? You remember this. Now, you remember it wasn't a wound. They said it was 3 wounds, that it was self-inflicted. Now it says that it was only 1, right? So the media's changed the story on a lot of this. Second Boeing whistleblower dies in 2 months. So they died within a few weeks of each other. And he warned of manufacturing defects. Now, you actually look at some of the reports that were done on this by doctors. And they also said this is crazy. Pneumonia within 2 days and died. He was really healthy. Okay, here we go. Look, so this one actually says wounds. Okay, here, I'll prove it to you here. So wounds with an S, right? Now, what does the BBC say? I just showed you this a second ago. Wound, right? So they've been changing it, but this one, what am I using? Archive.is, and you can see. So this is what it's. I know it sounds crazy. I know I sound crazy to some of you guys, but this is what I do. I track all this stuff, and I've got a photographic memory, so I can remember it all. This came out of the Independent. This was who was this one? Oh yeah, this was a FBI informant, I believe. Where was it? Okay, Deutsche Bank. Yeah, so this one was about Deutsche Bank. He was found dead as well. 46 years old. Again, no one suspects foul play. I think it was an overdose, something like that. Even though people say that he wasn't on drugs, it's like, okay, we got some weird ones. Of course, we remember John McAfee. That was another one. We won't talk about this one. I don't want to get my channel taken down. But his was another one. I mean, we've had loads of these. So let's have a quick look at the calculations. And ironically, I use ChatGPT. So I sort of asked statistically, what are the odds that 5 out of the 5 whistleblowers of these such large scandals committed this, right? So it went through, and I really had to get a little bit granular. So this is one of the later attempts. It's 9 per 100,000 people per year. That's the WHO stats. So it's about 0.009%. So we've got these stats. I asked it to look at some other stuff as well on another thread. I wanted to get this really accurately. However, even under increased stress, it's rare to see cluster like this. So they're saying it's rare. So we did some calculations on it, and I had to go back and forth on it. I did some other threads on this, by the way. This isn't just the only one. So I did some calculations on this, and the odds of it were 1 in 32 million. So that is the odds of these 5 people, according to this, assuming all cases are truly independent and random, right? And if you can go through and you can look at all the how it calculated this and stuff. But here was the conclusion: while whistleblowers face higher risks than the general population, the clustering of such cases is statistically improbable if considered purely random. This suggests that external factors, whether psychological, social, or foul play, likely contribute to the pattern. Further investigation into the specific circumstances is warranted to determine if these deaths were truly suicides. Oh, no, I said the word. Or something more deliberate. Now let's talk in a second about the deep cut 4 here, because that was really, and I remember that anyway. I remember that it was a sort of Pirbright area, deep cut area, the army camps back in the day. But you look, I just did that on 5 of them, okay? 5. But if you were to start looking at all of these, there's a lot more cases. You can see it for yourself. It's highly, highly statistically improbable, which means there's something obviously. I mean, to us, it's obvious there's something going on. Other people will say, "Oh, that's a," you know, the word they're gonna use here. But this is what we keep seeing. And I saw another one, this one from a couple of days ago, and I thought, no, come on. The parents always say the same thing. They were really happy. They loved life. They did this um, or the family members, family members say these things. It's just crazy. Hold on, let's go on to the deep cut one. Let's have a. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Wait, here we go. We've done it. Screenshot. I gotta get a screenshot. There we go. We gotta get a screenshot of that. We got the magic number 444 444. Thanks for the was that 3 or 4 new subscribers there? So we've done some good growth in the last 28 days here. It's grown quite well. Okay, so who were the deep cut for then? We've got to talk about this. I remember the I didn't know any of these people, by the way, but I do remember these cases. And the army insisted that all the deaths were this, but actually it was well known. If you were a soldier back then, or you were going, you were in the army, no one believed this. No one believed this because it was so crazy. And I remember, because I was young at this point. I was a private soldier back then, and I even remember the corporals and the sergeants, and even some of the color sergeants were saying that there's just no way. They were saying, like, no, there's no way. Open verdicts, families disagreed. They all said the same thing. They had these ballistics experts who investigated it as well, and he said it was highly unlikely many of the fatal bullets were fired by the recruits themselves. And the reason why, one of them was from a pretty large distance, and yet they said that this girl fired on us. I mean, it was crazy stuff. Gray, he was one. He was found with 2 GH wounds to his head while on guard duty in 2001. I mean, 2. Okay. The army said he killed himself, and the first inquest returned an open verdict. Some aspects seemed mysterious, including reports that a figure was seen running away from the area and suggestions his body was moved shortly after. And again, I'm not linking this to any of this stuff, by the way, what we're talking about here. I'm not linking this to any of this. It's a completely different thing. What I'm saying is, when you remember things like this, you're like, yeah, this was a weird case of these 4 soldiers who everyone said they were pretty happy. One of them was bullied. We know that because there was an investigation. Okay, about this young chap then, he had no girl problems, no money worries. In fact, he could not have been at a better time in his life. We had this one, Private Benton. He was another one. This one, can I just show you this here? How many? 5. 5. And again, they said it was the same thing. They said, what did they say? He did it to himself, suggesting he'd been shot 4 times from a distance and only once from close range. Again, you start looking at all of this, and I remember Private James as well. This one here, inquest had an open verdict on this. If you actually read into it all in detail, this is BBC, obviously, so it's super biased. But if you read into these cases in detail, there's just no way. There's no way some of this stuff happened. Self-inflicted. Oh, this one was an accident, they say. What did his mother say? I don't believe that my son pulled the trigger, but at the same time, I don't believe anyone wished him dead. I think in the regime at Deep Cut, there was very little suspicion. I think some silly prank went terribly wrong. Well, that was her thoughts on it. But you look at the key dates as well, and the verdicts of all of this. It happened at a quick time. So why am I sharing all of that then? I'm sharing that because I want to show you that this stuff actually goes on throughout history, if you want to say it like that. But even in modern days, we see these things taking place. People just say, oh, it's a coincidence. But then when you start looking into it and you run the calculations and the statistics on it, you know that it's physically impossible. So who would be doing this sort of stuff? Well, these huge, huge companies, they have so much money. And some of these people that are shareholders, stock, board, in fact, I won't say board members because I don't want to target on myself or something next. No, but you know what I'm saying here. Some of these people have ridiculous money and they're going to gain tons of money as well. And they just don't want certain things coming out. What I always say is when you take away all the crazy theories, right? And you're left with the most logical, rational things. When there's nothing else apart from the logic. Thanks for the super chat there, Mr. Shovel. Appreciate that. Uh, when you take away all of that, you take away all of the craziness, and you're just left with logical, rational stuff. And the statistics, that's why I run odds and numbers for you. There is nothing else. It doesn't matter how crazy the theory seems or how people ridicule me in the street or other people about this sort of stuff. They can't explain it themselves, though. I find this funny when people say things to me like that and how crazy I am for doing this stuff. But they can't explain it. How do they explain it? They can't, you know? So thanks for being online. Appreciate it. I hope you got something from the video. I hope you're one of the new subscribers now. 444 subscribers. Thanks for being online. Appreciate you guys. All right. Take care. Oh, take care. God bless. Gotta always say that. All right. Bye.